All right. So my friend sent me a video of this Christian guy talking about how he feels like men in the church are feminine. Okay. She was like, do you agree? I say yes. I don't even think it's just centralized to men in the church. I think it's just men, period, nowadays. And I'm not coming for no man. I'm just going to say this. And I'm not saying every man. I think it's kind of just, it's not a generalized statement. It's kind of just what I've been experiencing. I feel like a lot of men want, I think, because there's so much access to people now. I'll say that through social media, there's so much access to everybody. You know, you can know what they're doing right now, but they 2,000 miles away. There's so much access and there's so many people. And so I think with men now, there's so many options that they don't have to be aggressive. They can be passive because they know that a woman's going to come that they find attractive. Eventually a woman's going to come. I think it's the same with women too more focusing on men, but men can be more passive. Men are, I believe, more passive now. They're not necessarily like feminine in their mannerisms, but they're feminine in how they move. Like they want to be pursued. Some men feel like they want to be pursued. I see in dating profiles, men are like, if you afraid to hit me up first, I'm not the one for you. It's like, okay. That little stuff like that is kind of just, they don't necessarily want to pay for dates. Whoop, yada, yada. So yeah, I think men are definitely more passive, not just in the church, because what he was saying is that men in the church have like the nice guy persona. And he was like, I somewhat hear it because what he believes is that there's so many women in the church that pastors are focused in their sermons are geared towards women's emotions. And so it's a little more of like that type of, you're talking to a woman type of thing. And he said, depending on what pastor you're under may have different types of men. If you're under like a more rigid, structured, blunt, straight to the point pastor, it's a little more of like, okay, masculinity can be grown there. So I'm like, I hear what he's saying kind of, but I think it's just as a general society, men are just a little more feminine now. They have ways of women that are like, shouldn't the women be doing this? You know? But I thought about that, and I thought about like the nice man versus the bad boy. And I was like, okay, so what's the difference between the nice man and the bad boy? To me, what I think the bad boy is, there's excitement in that. There's a little bit of mystery in that. And there's butterflies in that. When I think of the nice guy, I think there's stability in that. I think that you know what you're going to get up front. It's the opposite of a bad boy. There may be excitement, but the excitement is not... It's a different type of excitement. It depends on, I feel like it's your mindset. For certain people who I feel like want to be in a relationship of a healthy marriage and where divorce is off the table. Because some people are like, if you're not happy to get divorced, even though the Bible doesn't talk about anything about being happy, the word happy probably come up 5 times in the Bible. I can be wrong. Get your concordance and check it yourself. But the point of like marriage is not happiness. The point of marriage is to love your spouse as Christ loves the church. Submit unto your husband as you're supposed to submit unto the Lord. It's about a purification process. It's about, my pastor says, sandpaper. Y'all sandpapering each other out because we're supposed to be presented to God holy and acceptable without spot, blemish, or wrinkle. So we're helping each other sandpaper each other out so that we can be presented to God as his bride. And so it's going to be challenging, of course. But I think when you go through challenging moments, don't you want stability? When you go through the ups and downs of life, because life is exciting enough. If you're doing it right, I feel like life is exciting enough. If you're out and about, exploring and doing different things, even just living life, period, there's going to be curveballs thrown into it. To me, why would you want a relationship to also be exciting? Don't you want stability? When you think about getting married, this is just me. I could be wrong, but this is just my thought process. Nobody says, oh, I'm excited to marry this man. You get married. Oh, I just love the mystery about him. Oh, I just love how ambiguous he is with his answers. Oh, I just love how I don't know what I'm going to get with him. Oh, it's so exciting. Who? Nobody. That wants a long-lasting divorce is off the table marriage. It's saying in their right mind, I want to marry a man with some mystery about him. Nobody does that. So if we're dating, and we're looking for mystery, we're looking for excitement, how is that going to lead to your marriage? Because people always want to say your wedding day is one day, marriage is for a lifetime. it doesn't really add up. People feel like they don't get married now because they don't know enough about the person to see if it's going to be the right person. And yet there's still people looking for the bad guy, bad girl persona, but it doesn't align with what I feel like stability is. Like with a good guy or a good girl, the good thing about the reason they're called the good guy and the good girl, they're genuine. You know what you're gonna get. They're probably very attentive. They listen. You know, they don't just pop off. They're not really emotion driven. It's just very kind of logical. I'm gonna tell you how it is in love. You know, I'm gonna love you despite whoop-de-whoop. We can get through this together. And I understand the excitement and stuff, but I feel like life is exciting enough. Why do you want that in your relationship? I'm not talking about like excitement in the sense of, oh, we going to the Bahamas next week, or I'm not talking about that. Like, of course, that's good excitement. But I think with the instability of you don't know what you're going to get, I feel like dating is exciting enough in the sense of it's kind of mysterious, for real. When you think about it, like, you don't know if that person's going to text you back. You don't know if that person's truly going to call you at 5 o'clock. You don't know if you're going to get stood up or not. You don't know how that person may like you so much. They may be like, oh, I can marry you tomorrow. This is what somebody told me, and I didn't hear from this man for a week. That's a mystery. I don't want that. I don't want talk. Ooh, butterflies. And then you just go ghost. But you want to marry somebody like that? And they hit you up and you all excited because it was mysterious? Because it was like, ooh, exciting. Oh, he made me feel like this. She made me feel like this. Get healing. I just want to say that. If you still in that mindset, and this is no shade to nobody, and I can be totally wrong. I love to have conversations like this. Let's grow together. But in my monologue self, I want to say, you don't marry somebody that there's still mystery in. So why are you pursuing these people that there's still mystery in? Doesn't make sense. Or why are you allowing yourself to be pursued by a mysterious person? It's the difference between like, oh, his guard is still up, you know, eventually he's going to trust me enough, or she's going to trust me enough to let her guard down. Then there's less mystery. But with this whole bad boy back, it's like, grow up. Like, I feel like to be in a marriage, you got to be grown. You got to be selfless. God doesn't tell you to, when I think about marriage, people want to be like, well, I'm going to love that person as much as they love me. That's not biblical. That's not marriage. When we think about God, we think about we are the bride of Christ. God says he is our husband in Isaiah. So if the husband is saying, I'm going to love you despite how you love me, that's what marriage is. And I feel like you have to be grown to be in marriage. It's not a walk in the park. That's why I think it's important for us to be very specific with who we get with. And I think nowadays we're probably, because we have so much, men are working, women are working, everybody has a job and stuff like that, stability in their own sense, that we're being a little more selective, which I think is great. But the divorce rates are still so bad. And I think it's because, like, you got to be grown to be married. You got to be grown. And then to be grown with a mystery is like, who wants that? I want some good old stability. When life is going up and down, tops and turbies, I want a stable person to be able to talk to. I want a person who thinks before they speak. I want a person who's healthy in their communication. I'm not trying to not talk to you for a week because we had a disagreement. That's the bad boy. Toxicity. Why do you want a toxic marriage? Anywho, I just want to encourage the good men and the good women. Nobody wants the good men and the good women. That's not true. That is absolutely not true. I want the good, wholesome, I know what I'm going to get, stable, genuine, patient man of God. I want that. Okay? I used to want the reformed thug. But then I started to think, okay, if you were out in this world shooting up people in drive-bys, selling drugs, yes, you gave your life over to Jesus. However, has somebody not forgiven you? Has that been 10 years ago? I still got to look behind my shoulder and see who is following us and constantly pleading the blood of Jesus more than I'm going to do on the usual basis because of your past of foolishness? That is not cute to me. We're not trying to be with our stroller walking around in the park and all of a sudden somebody starts shooting at you because you had a beef with somebody 12 years ago before you came. That's not cute. That is not cute. You can be swagged out and super nice and super genuine. You can have that quiet confidence, okay? All this mystery crap. Oh, what did you do in your past? Oh, I went to juvenile hall. But for what? Oh, that's in the past. Don't worry about it. That's the babble with mystery. Who wants that? I'm trying to think if I'm going to marry you. I'm trying to think if I'm going to have children. I'm trying to see what kind of trait do you have that may be passed down to our son. And do I want that? Look. Continue to be the good girl. The good guy. The good girl and the good guy are kept. I'm grateful that God has kept me from some riff-raff foolishness. Oh, you don't have a lot of experience. That means I'm kept. That means a lot of dirt and taint that y'all got. All that baggage, mental baggage, emotional baggage, physical, you didn't have something before you dealt with somebody baggage. Who? Bad boy. No, thank you. And I'm not saying baggage is a bad thing. There's people who are graced for baggage. I'm just saying, of course, it's easier to have less bags to get on a flight than have to check in a whole bunch of bags. Because you may have to, TSA may be like, beep, beep, beep. Let's look at this a little further. Do I want you to get on this plane with this or not? Can you board this plane? So we gotta get saved. And then once you get saved, don't be out in the world, because some of these people saved. For real, seek God. Seek healing. Seek deliverance. God wants it for us. Seek stability. Seek healing. We all need healing. Continue to heal. Stop getting with... I'm not going to say this because it's going to go into a whole new thing. Actually, I am going to say this. Even though maybe some people I know. Don't take no offense. It's the truth. But God bless you. It worked out. Or maybe it didn't. If you're a good girl or a good guy and you with somebody and you were ready to be married, don't get with somebody who ain't ready to be married. That don't make sense. If you're ready to be married, we're in 2025 in March. If you're ready to be married or engaged in December of 2025, don't get with somebody who wants to be married but they don't know when. Because that makes you foolish. That person's like, oh, they like me. They want to be with me. I already told them that I may not want to be married for a few years. And they seem like they're okay with it because they're still with me. You can't even be mad at that because people can get away with people are going to get away with what they feel like they can get away with. It starts as a child. Children try to get away with what they feel like they can get away with until they're like, stop it. Pop their hand, then they stop. I told you not to touch that. They're going to still touch it. Then you pop their hand and be like, okay, I can't touch that. She told me no, I'm going to leave it alone. So you can't be mad when you're with somebody. And this is guys or girls. When you're with somebody and you have these things in your mind, that person has told you, or it's bad if we have to have conversations about these things. Where are you at? How soon do you want to get married? That's my question. How soon do you want to be married? Do you want to be a husband? Do you want to be a father? Because I know I want a man who wants to be a husband, who wants to be a father. Do you want to have a wife? What about a wife do you want? What are you looking for? What do you think a wife is to you? What type of husband do you feel like you're going to be? Let's ask these questions. Because somebody who is like, oh, that's too deep, that's too serious. There's nothing wrong with that. We're just not in the right space. And I think the person that, if we move, because some people can think some stuff is serious quickly. I've had guys where I was like, that's too much this soon. I don't know you. And they're like, well, that's a red flag to me because I want to talk about the stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I'm not that woman. Because I feel like with your spouse, y'all move in what's the word? Synchronicity? Synchronized? But what's the action of that? What's the action word of that? I don't know. Y'all move in the same ebb and flow. It's not too quick. It's not too fast. I'm comfortable. We move kind of fast, but you comfortable? I'm good with this. Okay, cool. We moving slow. You comfortable? I'm comfortable with this. You want to talk about this? Yes, I do. I'm glad you brought that up. You move. It's easy. It's smooth. It's smooth. When you asking stuff and they're like, that's too soon. Okay. What about this? Oh, that's too much. Okay, that ain't it. Get on. I feel like it ain't that deep. I'm not married, but I feel like it ain't gonna be hard. When that man come on and be like, oh, that's my dude. That's my man. Why? Because he has this and this and that. I like the stability, the good, all these things that I'm praying for. The excitement is the fact that God has answered my prayers. And a good, nice guy, I'm excited at the fact that I have stability now. I'm excited for the fact that I have a gentleman now. I'm excited for the fact that he loves me despite if I make him upset. I'm excited for the fact that if I do something wrong to him by accident, he's not petty. He's not going to hurt me in a, to justify what I did or to get back at me. I'm excited for stability of a good quality, nice person. Okay, I just wanted to say that. Pray about this information. I'm gonna continue to pray because we're all growing, but I would love to have a conversation. If anybody wants to have a more conversation about this, whether in agreement, whether in disagreement, let's grow together, because at the end of the day, I think we need accountability. We need community to be able to get through this life and the different seasons of our life. So happy Tuesday.